Hey, fellow mathers, before we get into this episode, you need to know that registration for the free Math is Figureoutable Challenge is open. We want to empower teachers with PD to help you keep your students engaged and doing the math that matters. Register at mathisfigureoutable.com/challenge.
That's right. Registration's open for the free Math is Figureoutable Challenge, and it's starting August 26th and runs till the 28th at 7 p.m. Central. Join a community of like-minded math teachers from all over the world as we give you our take on math class with high-energy, engaging sessions.
It'll be challenging, it'll be inspiring, it'll be eye-opening. You don't want to miss it. Apart from the math, there'll be some super cool bonuses and prizes. You won't just walk away with routines that are naturally engaging. You'll also have a chance to win over $6,000 worth of prizes, including a few virtual PD sessions for your school.
You can register at mathisfigureoutable.com/challenge for a fantastic learning experience. That's mathisfigureoutable.com/challenge. Now on to the episode.
Hey, fellow mathers! Welcome to the podcast where math is figure-outable. I'm Pam Harris, a former mimicker turned mather.
And I'm Kim Montague, a reasoner who now knows how to share her thinking with others. At Math is Figureoutable, we are on a mission to improve math teaching.
We know that algorithms are amazing human achievements, but they're not good teaching tools because mimicking step-by-step procedures can actually trap students into using less sophisticated reasoning than the problems are intended to develop.
In this podcast, we help you teach mathing, building relationships with your students and grappling with mathematical relationships.
And we invite you to join us to make math more figure-outable.
Hey, Pam.
Hey, Kim. How's it going?
Good. Hey, before we start today's episode, we just wanted to share that we heard from a friend of ours, not too long ago, actually, about the new intro. And a particular portion of it where we have started, or you've started saying mather.
Hey, fellow mathers.
Yeah. And so because we usually have said mathematicians, and this particular person reached out and said, hey, so did you know, and why haven't you been giving credit? Because Deborah Parrott has been talking about mather as a word for quite some time. And so this person very kindly pointed that out to us and said, why didn't you give acknowledgement there? And unfortunately, I had to admit that I didn't actually know Deborah's work. And I'm so happy that this person pointed it out because we would not want it all to seem that we were not crediting people with their work. And we are really excited that everybody is helping to move math forward for all students. So thank you for pointing that out to us. And Deborah, thank you for helping improve math for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you. Yeah, we definitely want to give credit where credit is due. And so, I think I've actually met Deborah, but I had not heard that mather was her thing. And so fantastic. Great minds. Yeah. And Let's give credit where credit's due.
Cool. All right. So I wanted to share a review with you also, Pam. I know you haven't heard this one, but this one,
reviews.
I know the title is excellent. And I wish I could give credit for this person, whoever it is, but it's a series of letters as the name, which is probably what I would do if I were leaving a review. I'm coming up with a catchy name for those.
Okay, that's hilarious because I'm looking at it right now. It's BFHGTFFGHHG. It's like, hey, well,
don't read any of it.
Okay, I'm not reading.
So the review says, one of the best podcasts I've listened to when it comes to teaching math and helping students truly strategize and think. Short and sweet and easy to listen to on the way to work.
Bam!
Yeah, it's fun.
That's awesome.
The danger about listening on the way to work, though, is in so many of the episodes, we do math. And that could be tricky. You might want to write something down.
Yeah, that's fun.
Don't do it. Don't do it while you're driving.
Well, thank you so much for your review.
I thought your microphone was messed up for a second. I was like, oh no, here we go.
Oh no.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
just trying to pronounce that name.
That's
Hey,
awesome.
seriously, thank you for the review. I don't know, listeners, if you know, but if you review and give us a rating, that helps other people find the podcast because it does the algorithm thing where then it
Yeah.
shows the podcast to more people, and then we can spread the word that math is forgettable more and more. So we appreciate that. Thanks tons. Yeah.
Okay, let's get on with it. So the last episode, we started talking about mean, and we
Hmm.
actually we're talking about making sense of what the average is, other than just telling kids, "Hey, here's these numbers, add them up, and then divide by however many you have." So we're going to continue
Hmm.
that work today
Yeah,
with a
rather than
pencil.
having excellent, rather than having mean be a procedure where kids go, "Oh yeah, is that the one where you add them all up and divide by the number, or is that where you?" Instead of that being the feeling tone, the intuition, the perception that kids have for mean, what could we do to make things more sensible, figure outable, so that kids actually have a feel and perception for mean and median and mode? And mean, median, and mode are things that we call measures of central tendency. They measure the tendency to the center of data. And so those measures of central tendency can be things that we can give kids a feel for. Now, there are parts of those measures of central tendency that are social, the conventional, that we deem to be so. Somebody gave the name mean. Somebody called the thing that happens in the middle number in the data set called the median. And then the thing that happens the most often, the data entry that happens the most often, we call the mode. Those names are social, it's conventional. But the feel for what those mean in the data, that's logical mathematical. And so we need both. We need to tell kids the name of it, and give them some sense of why we gave them that name, but also help them develop the perception of what a mean tells you about the data, and develop a perception about what the median can tell you about the data, and also what the mode can tell you about the data. But also, we can change up the data to help give that perception. So
Hmm.
today, Kim,
Yes, ma'am.
we're going to do a problem string, and I'm going to give you a data set. And when I
Okay.
give you that data set, I'm going to ask you for the mean, median, and mode, and you can tell us in any order. If I were doing this problem string with real kids, not fake kids like you, Kim, you're a fake kid. If I was doing this with students, I would, on the board, I would write the data set, and I would also have 3 columns to the right of it, where I would have the word mean and the word median and the word mode, and we're going to fill those in. But I would also tell kids, be very upfront, you can fill them in any order. So whichever order you want, I'm happy to have you fill those in. So Kim, on my paper right now, I have the word mean and the word median and the word, I'm actually writing it right now, mode, kind
Okay.
of 3 columns. And then next to that on the left, there's kind of on the right side of my paper, next to that on the left side of the paper, I'm about to give you a data set. Are you ready?
Okay. Yep.
All right. If the data set's a 5-value data set, if that data set is 20, 20, 20, 20, and 20, if that's the data set, 5 20s,
Hmm.
pick one of those, any one that you want to pick first, that you're just like, well, bam, it would obviously be.
Mode is the
Okay.
most often occurring. That's 20.
All right.
The median is the one in the middle. That's 20.
Okay.
And then the mean is also 20.
And how do you know? Is that 2? I don't know. Couldn't even ask you that. If the
Yeah,
date,
it's
if the values are all the same,
yeah,
then they're all even, right? If we were to
right.
line up, like, and if I were to have a column up on the board of like grid paper that was 20 high, and I had 5 columns of, sorry, rows, 20 rows, and I had 5 columns, and I was like, hey, if this grid paper right here, if I colored in this first column up to 20 and this column up to 20 and this column, they were all up to 20, they're kind of even, right? It's like evened out.
Hmm.
And which of, if I was describing this evening outness, which of the mean, median, or mode is that describing?
The mean.
The mean. It's like I sort of evened it out, and that's kind of the meaning of mean. We did that in the last episode. And so, yeah, okay. And then do you see the median in that look? If you kind of are looking at these 5 columns of 20, I don't know if you see the median. Do I see the median there?
Yes, the one in the middle.
Well, and so we'd have to line them up, right? Like I could
Yeah.
have put those values in a different order, so we'd have to kind of line it up, and then the value that shows up in the middle. Okay, cool. Um, I don't know if the mode shows up in that picture.
So if they were different levels, it's
Uh-huh.
the one that is the most often occurring, like where they, like if you look horizontally, which one has the same value all the way across.
Gotcha. And that one that shows up the most often, that would be the mode. Cool. And I like it. All right. That was the first problem. That was really quick. Second problem. The first, so it's a 5-value data set.
Okay.
The first value is 19, 20, 20, 20, and 20. So 19 and then 4 20s.
Four,
And yeah. What are you thinking about?
19, 20, 20, 20.
I'm sorry. Typo. The first number is actually 18. My bad.
Say them again. You want
18,
Yep.
20, 20, 20, and the last one's 22. Holy cow, did I sleep last night? Like, I'm a mess.
Say them one more time.
Whew. Okay, 18, 20, 20, 20, 22.
18, 20, 20, 20, 22.
Yeah, wow. Sorry about that. That was intentional to fake everyone out. Not really, not in any way. I don't know what was wrong with me.
It's a good thing I have a eraser. Okay.
Yeah,
all right. So, what do you answer first? You don't care. Okay. I'm going to go.
Care, yeah.
Mode is 20 because there are 3 20s.
Okay.
I'm going to say that the median is also 20
because
if I line them up in order from least to greatest, then 20 is in the middle.
Okay. And you're welcome, because I kind of gave them to you lined up. So.
Thank you for that. And I'm going to say that the mean is also 20 because if I take 2 from the 22 and give it to the 18, then I have 5 20s again.
And they're all kind of evened out.
Yep.
Okay, nice. Cool. All right, next value set. I'll try to do this one correctly. All right, here we go. First number is 18, 18, 20, 22, 22.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to start with mean this time.
Okay.
And I'm going to say that the mean is also 20 because just like I previously did, I'm going to take 2 from one of the 22s and give it to the 18. But I'm going to do that twice this time because I have 2 2s and 2 18s.
Nice. Uh-huh. And when you do that, it makes they're all 20.
Yeah, all 20.
Uh-huh. Okay. And
then I'm going to say that the median is 20 again.
Okay.
And then the mode, I have 2 modes.
Bimodal.
18 and 22.
Nice. All right. That makes a lot of sense. Cool. Next value set. Let's see. We've done 3, right? So I'm on the 4th one. Okay. The next one, 18, 18, 18, 22, 22.
Okay.
And you know what? God, Kim. There's a thing that I wish. So, teachers, none of us are perfect. And here, I'll just admit I'm not perfect. So I'm just realizing that when I gave you the first one, the first value set, data set, you said that all the mean, median, and mode were all 20. And then when I gave you the second data set, you said that the mean, median, mode were all 20. And I wish at that point I would have said what changed in the data set and what didn't change. Because the mean, median, mode all stayed the same.
Right.
But some things changed and didn't change.
Do
you mind? Can we back up? I know
sure.
People in the car are like, what even were those? Yeah. So it was, the first one was all 20s. And the second one was an 18, 3 20s, and a 22.
Yeah. So what changed is that I have 2 pieces of data, 2 values that averaged to 20, but when left alone, they were not. So 18 and 22, the average between those 2 is 20, but they are not 20 themselves.
Cool. And so how did that not change the mode?
Because I also had a bunch of 20s, more of them than not 20s.
Okay. And then how did that not change the median?
Because one was lower than the average and one was higher than the average.
How does that affect the median?
Because the average is in the middle.
That's the mean, right? The average in the middle.
What did you ask me?
Oh, do you mean the middle value when you say the middle?
What did you ask?
I don't even know. I'm asking about median.
Oh, okay. I thought you asked me why is that? How does that affect the median? Or
the median, yeah. And so when you said one is lower, one is higher, is that
one is below the median and one is above the median?
Okay. And so does that affect the middle value?
Yes, because one's less than the middle and one's more than the middle.
And so therefore the middle didn't change.
Right.
Okay. Okay. All right. Cool. I think so. All right. From the second data set, where it's 18, 20, 20, 20, 22,
Yep.
to the third one, which was 18, 18, 20, 22, 22,
Uh-huh.
the only thing that changed was the mode. So I don't know if you can put any words to why did the mean not change?
Because when you even them out, they still evened out to all 20s.
Okay. That makes sense.
But this time there were two pairs that had to adjust.
Mm-hmm.
So there were two less than the median and two more than the median.
Okay. So even though even though the four numbers on the sides of the median changed, it's still in the middle.
Right.
Okay. Okay. All right, cool. All right. So for the last data set, now I don't even remember. I gave you 18, 18, 18, 22, 22, right? Did I say those out loud? I have them written down. I think I said them. The fourth
Say
data
them
set.
again.
The
18,
fourth,
18, 22, 22.
yeah, three
Okay.
18s, three 18s, two 22s. And then we haven't talked about that one yet, right?
I know I haven't said anything about that.
Okay, what do you got
I
for that
have
one?
I have so
Sorry,
many
I'm a mess.
18s and 20s and
I
22s all over my
know.
paper.
I'm just a mess. Okay, so let me
Okay.
just say it one more time for everybody. This one that we're now currently talking about, 18, 18, 18, 22, 22.
Okay.
Okay. Which one do you want to do first?
So the first thing I notice is that we've been living in the land of 20 is the mean and the
Mm-hmm.
median, but now I
Mm-hmm.
have more values below that. So I think it's
Hmm.
going to shift everything down a little bit.
Interesting. Okay.
So I'm gonna start with the mean again.
Okay.
Well, no, I'm gonna start with mode because 18 is the mode. Just that pops out pretty easily.
Bam. You got three of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. That makes
hmm
sense.
hmm
Uh-huh.
And same with median. It's if I line them up, 18's in the middle.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna take two from both of the 22s
Mm-hmm.
and give them to the 18s.
Mm-hmm.
So now on my paper I have 20, 20, 18, 20, 20.
Mm-hmm.
So I have one number that's two less than the average.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I explain? I if I want to even out, so I said two less, but I also have I gotta write the numbers again. 20, 20, 20, 20. I guess I could re-even it out and make it be some 19s.
Okay.
I don't really want to mess with that though. So I basically have 8 extra above 18. If everybody had 18, then I would have 8 extra to share among 5 numbers.
Ooh. Okay.
So if I'm sharing 8 among 5 numbers, so 8 divided by 5,
Uh-huh.
then everybody would get 1 3/5, which is 1.6.
Nice.
So then I'm going to say that the average is that 18 where they're at plus the 1.6. So
Mm-hmm.
it's 19.6
Super
is the
cool.
mean.
Yeah. Yeah. I like
And I
it.
suppose I could have just subtracted. That was kind of lame. I could have
What do you mean?
subtracted. I could have started, which is I think what I wanted to do first, but I switched. I could have subtracted 0.4 from the 20 they were originally at.
Okay. Wait, so when you had 2020, 18, 2020, you could have where'd you get the 0.4 from?
Well, in the previous problem, the average was 20, the mean was 20.
Oh, okay.
So I could have said, okay, I have 2 less total to share among the 5 numbers, and that's 0.4.
Oh, two shared among 5. 2/5
Yeah,
is
that's
0.4.
0.4.
Well,
That
that's
would probably
nice.
have been nicer.
So I think you actually did two really nice things. One was kind of based on looking at the new value set and really sharing out. You were kind of dealing out among the 5 values and kind of making sense of that. And the other was comparing to the one before and kind of using that sense of if you add it all together, what the total was only 2 less, but it had that two from the total had to be shared among the 5 values. So there's kind of these two ideas that I think we want to build both in students. We want to build this idea of kind of evening out the values, but we also want them to get this sense of but I could add everything up together and share it among them.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we tell them that that's a procedure, that that's what it means, but they can actually start developing that sense. Exactly like you just did. Kind of, oh, from this one, it was only two different. Well, what does
Mm-hmm.
two different mean over all of them? So that's a way to kind of develop that sense. Go ahead.
And it feels very different than 18 plus 18 plus 18 plus 22 plus 22 divided by 5.
Especially
It's
if you're going to long divide that
mm-hmm,
total.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, super. Okay, are you ready for one more?
I was gonna say, am I done? Am I done?
You want to be done? No, not quite. All right,
Okay.
the next one, 18. I know you're like, really? Change the numbers. Okay, so the first one's 18, 18, 22, 22, 22. Now,
Okay.
before you do any work, can I just point out that the one
Mm-hmm.
before it was 18, 18, 18,
Mm-hmm.
22, 22.
Mm-hmm.
This one is 18, 18, 22, 22, 22.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, okay, just
So
so
if
the
I
listeners can kind of hear that.
Yeah. So I'm going to go back to, I have no idea which problem this was, but when we had 18, 18, 20, 22, 22,
Mm-hmm.
that mean was 20. Then the problem I just did was 4/10 less than that one. So it was 19.6 is the average.
Uh-huh. What does it mean? Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. This time I'm noticing that I'm kind of ignoring the 18s and 22s on the sides. Like
Okay.
we know those are going to work out to 20. So I'm really just looking at the median, and I'm saying that the median when 20 was the fifth number and the mean was 20. Then
Mm-hmm.
we went to 18 was the median and the average was 19.6. This time I'm going above. So I don't know. I'm circling on my paper. I'm not saying enough out loud. But in the previous problem, we were 4/10 under 20. So
Mm-hmm.
19.6. This time we're 4/10 above 20. So the average is going to be 20.4.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like it.
I don't know if it makes sense if we can't see anything on my paper, but
No, yeah, I can totally follow that.
okay.
Nice. I like it. If I forced you to do something just with these numbers,
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you have something, because you kind of said that you were going to take 2 from the 22s to give to the 2 18s.
Yeah. So if I did that, then I would have 20, 20, 22, 20, 20.
Mm-hmm.
If I did some evening out, then I would have 2 extra in the 22
Mm-hmm.
that I would share among the 5 numbers.
Nice.
And
And
so
2
it'd be
shared among
4/10.
5 numbers is 4/10.
Mhm.
Yeah. Cool. I like it. I really like your comparison one from the one before. Cool. So you've given us the mean for this set, if you don't mind.
Oh,
Median?
I kind of ignored the other ones. Median's 22 and mode is 22.
All right, cool. Last one. You've done a fantastic job. Here we go.
Oh, thanks.
18, 18, 18, 18. So 5 18s. The last one is 22. Sorry, 4 18s. Oh my gosh. 4 18s. Blah! 4 18s. The last one's 22.
Okay. I don't even know what I want to go back and compare, but I got to tell you, I've crossed out so much. I don't even know if I know what any of the previous problems were.
Which, can we pause here for a second?
Yeah.
Teachers, this is why I make such a big deal about that. It's less about what kids have on their papers. And it's super important that I have on the board a display that kids can refer to.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
really
at this
important.
point, yeah, so it wouldn't matter that you have, I love what you've been doing on your paper, but you would be able to look up at my paper and compare. So it's a little unfortunate that we're on the airways, but yeah, here
Yeah,
we go.
I honestly, I want so badly to look at what I have for previous problems. I'm gonna have everything crossed out and new numbers written above them.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay. But I'm trying to look above that, and I'm seeing that there was a problem a few back
Okay.
where we had 18, 18, 18, 22, 22.
Which is very close to this 18, 18, 18, 18, 22. Uh-huh.
Really, the difference between this problem you're giving me and that problem I just mentioned
Mhm.
is 4. For the amount of 4
Because
quantity
one of the
4.
because one of the 22s is now an 18.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, but I didn't even line this up right on my paper. I don't remember what the average was there.
That
Was
was
the
19.
average of
That
that
one
one
was 19.6.
Okay.
Okay.
So if this is 4 less shared among 5 numbers, then that would be zero point 0.8 less. So I think this one's going to be 18.8. But I want to confirm.
Okay.
Yeah, because if there was 8, if the last number was 18 instead of 22,
Mm-hmm.
then I would have 4 extra to share among 5 numbers, and that's zero point 0.8. So yeah, 18.8.
Nice. Nice. How'd you get the 0.8 again? 4
Which
divided
way?
among
Which way?
five. Four,
Oh,
either way. 4 divided among
uh,
5. Is that what you did?
4/5. Yeah, 4
Four
fifths
four
is
fifths is 0.8. And
80%, zero point 0.8.
yeah, and your sort of happiness with fifths. So Kim has had a good relationship with fifths and in decimals and percents. And so I just
Mhm.
wanted to slow that down just a little bit. Like
Gotcha. Okay.
4 divided by 5 is 4/5, which is also equivalent to zero point 0.8. And that's where you're sort of getting that zero point 0.8
I
from.
like
Nice.
this string.
Oh, I'm so glad.
I'm gonna
Cool.
I'm gonna make my kids do some math tonight.
I love that you do that. Hey, if you didn't have the other ones and you were just going to compare or just use the 5 value data set, the 18, 18, 18, 18,
Mhm.
22, is there a different
I
any,
think I would have done what I did the second time to check my thinking is
ah,
I would have said, okay, they all have an 18 within them. What's
mhm.
extra? And re-even that. So the evening out that extra 4 that's in the 22.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Mhm.
That makes sense. Cool. And just so listeners can hear, often I will have kids say, kind of like what Kim said, well, I can see 18s. There's 4 18s and 122. If I pretend that what 22 is an 18, there's that 4 extra. Often they'll say, well, I'm just going to dump that 4. And sometimes they'll dump that 4 into the 4 18s and then
Mm.
not realize that that last 18 that they sort of took that 4 away from the 22. And so now it's 18. Well, now
Yeah.
it's kind of lonely. But now
Mhm.
they'll have 19, 19, 19, 19, and 18.
18. Yeah.
And so now they have to kind of think about, well, what do we do to make that 19, 19, 19, 9, the 4 19s and 18? How do they even that out?
Yeah.
Ooh, can I just grab, what, a fifth from each of those?
Mhm.
And now I've grabbed 4 1/5ths to give to the 18. So that's 18 and 4/5ths. And I've grabbed 1/5 from each of those 19s, which leaves it with 18 and 1/5.
And so that sounds like more than one shuffling, more than one evening out, and
Mm,
that feels really important to let kids experience and not just tell them, "Oh, you didn't see? You should have done this all at
mm,
once." Like that
mhm.
constant re-evening out is the learning that they need to have.
Well, and often teachers will say, Pam, how do we give kids more experience with fractions?
Yeah,
Well,
right.
notice that here we are in a seemingly unfraction kind of task where actually we could get a lot of fraction understanding
Mhm.
happening, not only just with sort of that adding that 1/5 or subtracting that 1/5, but also the quotient meaning of that if I have 4 extra that I need to divide among these 5 data values, then I kind of have that quotient meaning of 4 divided by 5 is 4/5. So lots of nice things. Teachers, you might be thinking right now, Pam, my kids don't own all that stuff. We can't do this kind of thing with that. But could this be an opportunity to actually develop those meanings of fractions
Mhm.
along with the sense of what's a mean and what's a median and what's a mode and changing the data values? How does that affect each of those measures of central tendency? And we can kind of have an open access task where kids, no matter where they are, everybody gets a little bit challenged to think and reason a little more sophisticatedly.
Yeah. I'm also thinking right now about in this last one, I was tempted to make them all 18 and then deal with the extra 4 that I had.
Uh huh.
But there was one time, and I don't remember where it was, where for some reason I wanted to go the other direction and I was subtracting some amount.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't remember which problem that was, but that was interesting. That was more challenging for me to think about going underneath instead of dealing with the extra on top. I wish
Sure.
I could remember what that was.
Well, that's interesting too because you're such an overgirl that
Yeah.
in this case, you actually, hey, maybe you have a little empathy for me when all the times you would go over and I'd be like, do that again. Like, let me see if I can, let me see if I can track with you. Hey, the
That's
last thing I
awesome.
want to end this one with is just
Yeah.
this idea that there is a difference between social conventional knowledge and logical mathematical knowledge. And just reiterate, like I said at the beginning, that the terms are social. That's the stuff that we tell kids. But the ideas that spreading it out till it's even, that one value that shows up the most, or the one that's in the middle of the data set, hammering down those concepts, that's logical mathematical, and that takes experience. What kind of experience? Well, the kind of experience that we just had, not just finding those, but discussing what's affected by what when you change the data. Why did that change and that not change? And giving kids experience of feeling those things change when the data change. This isn't the only kind of thing that you can do to help kids get a feel for those. I think it would be super helpful to have these data values mean something. So I also like to have a context involved. In fact, maybe even before I do what we just did today, we would have a context involved where it matters, whether we're talking about like median income or free throw averages or something like that, where changing
Ages.
one of the ages, lots of different things where changing a little bit of it, whoa, that really makes a difference. And then another idea is then how does that change which measure of central tendency? And so which one would you report out based on that context? So maybe we'll do a string like that someday on the podcast.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. All right, y'all, thank you for tuning in and teaching more and more real math. To find out more about the Math is Figureoutable movement, visit mathisfigureoutable.com. Let's keep spreading the word that math is figureoutable. Thank you for listening and making math more figureoutable.
To learn even more, make sure you register for our free challenge at mathisfigureoutable.com/challenge. You're not going to want to miss the evenings of August 26th through 28th at 7 p.m. Central.
Help us spread the word that math is figureoutable by inviting your colleagues and leaders to join us. Because math is not about memorizing or mimicking, it's about mathing, real mathing. Register at mathisfigureoutable.com/challenge. We will see you there. Thanks for making math more figureoutable.